in a bowl game.
Well, it's been the case. We'll see.
Yep.
Let's go. We have our pal Wayne Larrivee, the voice of the Packers, joining the program. Wayne is brought to us by Coal Investment Group, the retirement specialist. Good afternoon, Wayne.
Good afternoon, guys. How you doing?
We are fantastic.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. It's
same to you guys.
Perfect that we have you on today because you've been following the NFL for a long time. You ever seen anything like this Jair situation with a guy being suspended with 2 games left for one game with 2 games left?
Yeah, it's, it probably is an indication of a lot that's been going on in that situation, guys, over the course of the season. Everyone speculated on it, and, unfortunately it happens. And, yeah, a tough game to lose him for, too, because Minnesota has a very good receiver in Justin Jefferson who's playing terrific football right now.
I'm old enough to remember when Ezra Johnson ate a hot dog on the sideline, and there were folks who wanted him out. That was an exhibition game, and there were folks who wanted him out, and I think they might even have a coach resign at that time. What's worse, eating a hot dog on the sideline or crashing the coin toss?
Oh, gosh. Both of those, neither one is a good look. Okay.
Right.
But the more significant would have been crashing the coin toss in a regular season game. Yes.
And we just played the audio from the broadcast because you always send it down to the field and we get to hear on the radio broadcast, we get to hear the coin toss, which I think is cool.
Yeah. I was a little surprised to see Jair out there.
So was everybody else,
including the coaching staff.
Then again, when I saw him out there, I thought, well, maybe a last-second addition. It's his hometown. He's got family and friends and the whole bit. But I should have known better.
Yeah. It's something has felt off about this situation, injury aside. We could just, even those of us on the outside, just felt the spidey senses tingled, and it felt like something was off, Wayne.
Yeah, I would agree. I saw the end of Matt's press conference here a few minutes ago. You guys aired it on the air, and it's not been a good situation. And I think here's the deal. Okay, this football team, this Packers team, if somebody is hurt and hurt enough to put on IR, they'll put them there. Trust me, there will be no gray area. They get him to the IR. So when a guy's not on injured reserve, when he's listed as practicing with the team on a limited basis, whatever that might mean week to week, there's no doubt that they have hope, that he's listed as questionable going into the game, 50-50 chance he could play. And so, but for so many weeks, that 50-50 chance was 50 the wrong way. And, everybody started speculating about that, wondering about that. And believe me, people did follow me the team as well.
So, Wayne, what do you see happening in the second part of games? It seems like, the offense comes out, they control everything, and then the next thing you know, it's like, well, when is this going down to the last possession?
Guys, do you have a second? Because KB, I've been working all day on these numbers, and I need to get them out somewhere. Yes. But it's exactly what you're talking about. The defensive collapse in the last 3 games, let's just keep it to the last 3 games, has not been a whole game's worth, okay? But it has been by half. For example, in the last 3 games, the Packers defense is giving up, in the first half, 10 points a game, 166.7 yards, 6 yards a play, 57 on the ground, 109 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns total in the first half of those 3 games, okay? Those are the averages, and 3 touchdowns total. You can live with all of that, all right? But in the second half, they're giving up 19.3 points a game, 237 yards of offense, 7.6 yards of play, 77 on the ground, but in 5 yards a carry on the ground. And then in the passing game, 160.3 yards passing, 80% completions, 10.6 average per attempt, 7 total touchdowns in the second half of the last 3 games. So opponents are scoring 9 more points a game in the second half of the last 3 games, 71 more yards, 20 more on the ground, 51 through the air, and opposing quarterbacks completing 80% of their second half passes as compared to 66% of their first half throws. The breakdown has been in the second half. What does that tell you? I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what I think it tells you, even though I don't know. And as I always like to say, having never played the game or coached at a professional level makes me uniquely qualified to give my opinion. But in watching this and watching the game on the other day, I think they get into the second half and they start to play not to lose. There was one play in particular, and I can't recall exactly when it was. I just remember yelling at the TV. It was a 3rd and short, and I proceeded with the camera shot, the wide shot, to watch the safety back up out of the screen.
On 3rd and short?
On 3rd and short. You couldn't see him on the screen, and we've got a widescreen TV. Just backed up right out, had to be 14 yards, if not longer, off the line of scrimmage.
And you wonder, KB, when you see that happen, you wonder, okay, is it the safety doing what he's told, or is it the player messing up on the field? Because Larry McCarron talked about this in the pregame the other day in Carolina. He said, we're spending a lot of time blaming coaches and scheme, but, at some point it comes down to the guys between the white lines. They're responsible for carrying out the scheme, for making plays, for playing to a certain level. And, for whatever reason, that's not happening, especially in the second half of the games. Now, the numbers I just recited to you tell me that they have apparently a good game plan going in. But in the second half, either things are going haywire in the second half. I'm not quite sure I can put my finger on it. I'm not sure if it's adjustments the offense is making. I'm sure that's part of it. Adjustments the Packers aren't making, or maybe they are. They're in the lead, so maybe they're going to a little bit of a softer shell kind of defense. I don't know, but something is drastically different in the second half of these games over the course of the last 3 weeks defensively.
We are chatting with Wayne Larrivee, the voice of the Packers here, and Drew and KB. All right, so the Vikings they lost 4 of their first 5 games, won 5 in a row, and now they've lost 4 of 5 again. I get the feeling from that side of things, Wayne, especially after Hawkinson was hurt and out for the season, that they think that their playoff hopes are gone, obliterated. They just want to play off the string and get the season over with. That's what I'm getting from that side. Now, at least from their fan base and friends of mine are ready to run up the white flag and just have this be over because of what they've been watching. What are you seeing with the Vikings? What did you see when you watched their game against the Lions?
I tell you what, they played hard and they played for a long time well. And they're kind of patching it together offensively. And Nick Mullins, I know he threw 4 picks, but guys, there were times in that game he looked like a gunslinger. He was whipping it in there, and they've got 2 receivers. Addison killed the Packers. We didn't see Jefferson the first time around, but they're both apparently going to play, although Addison, I think, is nicked up a little bit. Losing Hawkinson is huge. They also lost DJ Wanham, and people say, well, who's he? Well, he only has 8 sacks off the edge of that defense opposite Danielle Hunter. So they're playing with a lot of injuries, more so than the Packers, but nonetheless, they're still playing for something, and they're on their 4th starting quarterback. Oh, and they may go back to another quarterback. If they don't start Mullins, they may go back with the rookie quarterback. So I don't know what to make of the Vikings, but I do know this. They're extremely well coached, both offensively and defensively, because they've held it together, especially on offense, with a ton of injuries this year. And that defensive coordinator, he's gone in there, guys, and changed the culture of that thing. You know what I mean? They were like 31st in defense over the course of the last 3 years. Put the compilation all together, they're about lower 10th of the league in defense. Brian Flores has gone in there and changed the culture. Changed it all. And you've got to be tremendously impressed with their coaching, both sides of the ball, period.
Totally agree. And I just, you can make a case that the Vikings defense is the most improved unit in the entire division this season. If you look at you break it down by the teams in the division and offense, defense, and special teams, that defense has come a long way. Makes me wonder if Brian Flores might get another head coaching job at some point during this offseason.
I hope he does.
Get him out of Minneapolis.
Get him out of the division.
Get him out of the division. He's doing a pretty good job. That's pretty wild. So, Wayne, what was the atmosphere like on Christmas Eve? Did you see a lot of green and gold? It was hard to tell from the television side if there was a lot of Packers fans in the house.
Yeah, I got to tell you what, Drew, most of it was Packers fans, it seemed like, because there were a lot of empty seats. And, obviously Carolina going through the season they're going through, fans were willing to give up their seats for Packers people. And I almost pulled out the euchre deal about midway through the first quarter saying, hey, folks, if you're in the neighborhood, stop on by. Plenty of good seats available. There were.
That is classic. That is classic. We're talking with Wayne Larrivee. All right, time to learn about Larrivee. We all have a question for Wayne to reveal some of his personality, and I'll get to go first. And I will say, Wayne, what is the best Christmas present that you gave this year? How did you do giving presents during this holiday season?
All right. I shouldn't talk about this.
Yes, really you should. You're among friends.
This is 101. And I understand it's just between us, right?
Yes.
And an audience of X number of people. Anyway, all right. The worst thing you can do with your wife is buy her a garment, piece of clothing. Yes. Okay.
No, that's number 2, Wayne. Don't buy her anything that she would need to use to work. Like a vacuum, gardening. I don't care how much your wife loves gardening.
Don't get gardening tools.
How much the gardening tools, they could cost $1 million. You don't buy them.
You don't buy or vacuum cleaners or anything, no matter how good the vacuum cleaner is. No, but so I knew it. I knew I was sinning as I did it. I said, I think this pair of pants would look really good on Julie. So I guess on the size, of course.
Of course, you're a guy.
And I bring it home. She opens the box and she says, gosh, I don't think I can ever fit into these. Oh. And so now I'm thinking, oh my gosh.
But that's good though.
She says, I just think they're too small. And so I said, well, just try them on. And she comes out with a smile on her face, says, I can fit in these.
They're perfect.
It was a home run, when it was 9 times out of 10, that's a strikeout on a hard slider on the inside corner.
You know what?
It's such a high degree of difficulty.
Popped it over the right field, wall in Yankee Stadium.
You aired on the right side on too small. I mean, you don't want to, coming in looking like one of those people holding up the big jeans next to them after they've been on Jenny Craig.
But if she doesn't fit into them, then she feels bad. Yes. Like she's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
It's true.
Almost a no-win situation, but I got through.
You chose the highest degree of difficulty there is. Buying somebody something.
Hey, the East German judge gave me a very good score on that.
That's awesome. All right, KB, what do you got for
Okay, let's say you can play with one toy that you once had as a kid for like one last day, and no one's going to give you a hard time about it. Go off on your own and just play with your favorite toy as a kid. What would it be?
Do you guys remember Matchbox?
Yeah.
Trucks and things. There was a Matchbox steam shovel I got. I was about 6 years old, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever because it was just like the steam shovel up on the hill in the gravel pit above our house. And I still remember that gift. I'll never forget it.
That's awesome. Hunter, you got a question to learn about Larrivee?
Yeah, question for you. What is your ideal Christmas dinner? Are you a turkey or a ham guy? Any specific sides?
Oh, no, we had London broil. It was terrific.
Ooh.
London broil off the grill. Excellent. Yeah. Twice baked potatoes. Oh, yeah. Green beans, the whole bit. It was great. Good
delicious.
Yeah. We're crashing next year, just like Jair at the coin toss. We're crashing Larrivee Christmas next year.
We'll throw an extra piece on the grill.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Wayne.
Wayne, safe travels. Enjoy the New Year's Eve festivities at US Bank Stadium. We'll be listening. It's going to be a fun week. It's already a fun week. It's already eventful, that's for sure.
Never a dull moment, guys. Thank you much. And hey, Happy New Year, each and every one of you and your families.
Right back at you. Thank you, Wayne. Wayne Larrivee, brought to us by Coal Investment Group, the retirement specialists. We will return with more. We'll take your hot takes. It's Hot Take Hump Day after all.